Anchor institutions are today facing some of the toughest challenges in their history with limited resources. Dynamic Purchasing UK, or DPUK, has been established to support the national rollout of dynamic procurement, which can deliver significant social, economic, and environmental outcomes. This is a levelling up opportunity that also supports the journey to net zero by directly addressing the climate and biodiversity crises. The first area to address is food. The food supply chain presents a devastating range of issues that have been left on the back burner for too long, in part due to being deemed too complicated to address. Whilst it is true that the food system causes harm, it actually holds the key to positively addressing so many of the world's biggest issues today. Whilst local authorities themselves typically spend relatively little on food these days, overall food spend makes up a sizable slice of their total economy. If led in the right direction, this spend can deliver regenerative regional economic impact. But first, let's consider the social and environmental reasons why food supply deserves the attention of anchor institutions. Food is the second biggest cause of greenhouse gas emissions by humans. Yet the true causes of emissions in food and farming are not widely understood, and so making changes in this area has historically been challenging. Most food system emissions are generated in the production approach taken by farms. This is followed by changes to land use, such as deforestation to grow crops to feed the animals that humans eat. Farmers have been driven to intensive farming practices to meet the food industry's relentless focus on producing large volumes of ever cheaper food. These intensive farming practices are largely responsible for the biodiversity crisis we face today, with more than half of all species in the UK wiped out over the past 50 years. Food security is at an all-time low since the war, and some are predicting this could worsen further, with common agricultural policy reforms and farm labour shortages causing farmers to exit the market. Food poverty, diet-related disease, water pollution and overuse, soil contamination and decreasing soil fertility are all also major issues in most regions of the UK. Supply chain transparency is crucial in order to make informed choices to help make the changes needed. To deliver this transparency, we need shorter food supply chains. DPUK can address all of these issues by supporting food procurers to implement dynamic food procurement. Dynamic food procurement has already been successfully trialled in Bath, where 35,000 meals a week were provided in the region's primary schools using this supply chain approach. The pilot allows SME producers to access a market previously difficult to penetrate and resulted in both environmental and financial cost reductions. As a result, the National Food Strategy, commissioned by the government, directly recommends the use of dynamic food procurement technology. Support for the dynamic food procurement model is broad. As a result, in late 2020, a government inquiry led by the EFRA Committee called for the immediate application of dynamic food procurement across the UK, consistent with the Bath pilot. Dynamic food procurement uses dynamic purchasing systems with supporting electronic catalogues and innovative technology underpinning the logistics process. This specialist technology creates an open digital marketplace that facilitates efficient short supply chain infrastructure. DPUK is to work with regional food network organisations similar to the South West Food Hub to bring together producers, logistic providers and buyers. Technology now exists to enable chefs to order food directly from SME producers nearby and receive a consolidated next-day delivery and consolidated invoice from an efficient local logistics provider. This is an opportunity for an economic transformation, led by anchor institutions and delivered by existing local SMEs. The regional economic transformation potential for dynamic food procurement is huge. Research shows that for every £1 spent with local producers, there is a £3 return into the local economy. Directing food spend to local SMEs has the potential to generate tens of millions of pounds of additional value into the local economy each year. It's not only the economics that are transformational, though. The social value impact of changing food supply chains could well be far more important. Dynamic food procurement creates more transparent supply chains. This means the production approach taken at farm level, which is responsible for the largest greenhouse gas emissions in the food system, can be measured and used to make more informed choices in menu and producer selection. Similarly, accountability on biodiversity and water and soil health can be upheld when fewer intermediaries exist in the chain. In addition, by using dynamic food procurement to drive more freshly picked, healthy and seasonal produce into public sector menus, we can help to inspire healthier eating habits, which could have massive ongoing positive health outcomes amongst those most in need. It will also help to level up rural communities by supporting local producers and farmers, some of whom could be at risk of closure. The opportunity to realise dynamic food procurement is here. DP UK has been formed as a coordinating body to support the process of a central purchasing organisation being formed by anchor institutions. The next step is for anchor institutions to indicate their interest. Please get in touch using the contact details on screen. Thank you for listening.